Hey everybody, welcome back to Technique Tuesday. Let's take a look at an idea that is actually really simple and easy, and you probably have the supplies laying around your house or at least in your child's backpack, because what we're going to use today are just colored pencils. Just the plain regular, any brand you want. This one just happens to be Crayola. Both of these are. These are Hobby Lobby, and there's no telling where I picked these up at. So, colored pencils, that's what we're going to use today. So let's start with our supplies. Colored pencils, as I mentioned. You're going to want your wood blanks, possibly a pencil sharpener if your pencils didn't come pre-sharpened. And then you're going to want to use a clear spray, something like a triple thick, to seal it when you're done, so that the colors don't get smeared and rubbed together. So let's go ahead and get started. Start with our wood blanks. Quick lesson though, I want you guys to see the difference between engraved and scored. If you look, now keep in mind this does have protective paper on it, but if you look here, these engraved ones have deep areas that are actually kind of cut out on the design. This one is scored, and it's just like a pattern that's been made on the wood. So you can see as I pull this protective paper off, it's just going to give you kind of an outline. So scored, engraved. Just wanted you to see the difference. You'll have noticed that more and more items on my site are starting to have the option to leave the paper on or off. If you leave it on, it gives you the opportunity to peel off pieces as you need it, especially if you're painting. You can go through and pull off the specific piece that you want to paint, and it won't affect the rest of it. If you want to remove it all at once, best thing for it, Gorilla duct tape. Just lay it on the design, rub it just a little bit, and peels right off. Picks up all your pieces. Sometimes I go back, just make doubly sure I got everything. It's just as easy as that. So front and back taken off, just like that. Let's do this one while I'm at it. Got the world's biggest roll of tape here. Just had to break out a new one. Okay, so set that off to the side here. So these are a couple that I have already colored with my coloring pencils. This one. Gee, my painter's tape is sticking a little too good there. This one. I'm kind of playing around with some things on this one. And then this, you see it's got a little shine to it. This I've already put a clear coat on the top of it, so that's where you're seeing the shine. You can also use a matte finish if you want, and it will take off some of that shine. Quick little tip here, if you are wanting to spray paint your items and you don't want to have to try to hold them while you paint them, take a paper clip, unbend it. You're going to loop that through, and now you can hold it or hang it while you spray it. But when it's drying, you will want to lay it flat so that the clear coat doesn't sink to the bottom. You don't want it, puddling up down here. So that one's clear coated. These are not. These I did earlier so that you'd have some examples and you wouldn't have to watch me color. I know they say coloring is soothing, but I don't think watching somebody else color is quite what they had in mind. So we're just going to do a little bit on this one here, just so you can kind of get the idea. Pick whatever colors you want. I think I'm going to go with the big monster set. And you can get these at Walmart, you can get them at Hobby Lobby, Target, online, wherever you want. So I'm just going to dig out a few colors. Remember, always leave your colors out until you're done with what you're doing. That way, if you have to try to make any adjustments or updates to it, you're not digging through your box going, did I use this one or this one or this one or that one? So all we're going to do, sharp pencil end, doesn't have to be super sharp, but you do want to have a little bit of a point, and we're just going to color. That's it. That's all. Keep going. Like I said, it's not exactly soothing for you to watch me color. So I'm just going to do a little bit here. Pick any colors you want. If you want it a little darker, either do a second pass on it or kind of press down on your color pencils a little bit. Do try to go with the grain when you can. And yes, these are oversized designs right here so that you can see what I'm doing. Otherwise, everybody'd have to put their glasses on to be able to see what I'm working on. So anyway, you get the idea. I'm going to color it all the way around. Then spray it with your clear coat. Lay it flat to dry, and you're ready to put your earring findings on, and off you go. So that's a simple one. Let me add a little twist to this, and I'll tell you a story. Many, many years ago, my father used to travel quite a bit for work. We traveled, and then he traveled as well for work. But he'd always bring something home for my brother and I. We'd never know what it was going to be till he'd get home, but he'd always bring us something. Well, my father brought me home these pencils. And I have had them since I was probably 10 or 11 years old. They come in this cool little case, flips over. That becomes the stand. Now, what makes these pencils so different and what makes me hang on to them, other than the fact that I wish I hadn't ever sharpened them because they're now $75 on eBay. But anyway, what makes these different is they're actually, some people call them watercolor pencils because they work with water or without, and you can get this kind of real soft blended look. So let me take one of these colors and show you what I mean. I just sharpened this blue one earlier. You can buy watercolor pencils very inexpensively on Amazon. You can still buy this brand, but this brand's expensive. Just saying. So I'm just going to do a little bit of this darker blue. And with these pencils, you can kind of do it a couple different ways. One, you can wet the surface you're working on, then use your pencil, or you can take the tip of your pencil, dip it in some water, like I've got a little container that I might have potentially dumped over. Oh, no, here it is. You can just dip the tip into it and then go from there. And you see how it gives it a slightly different color, and just keep going back. And you're not letting the tip really dry out, but you're not saturating it either. Because remember, you are still coloring on wood. So we don't want to warp the wood by drowning it. See, the color's darker and has kind of a blur to it almost. I know that's not exactly the right word to use, but that's the best one I've got right now until I wake up at 3 in the morning and come up with a better word. That's all I've got. But see, same pencil, but look at the two different colors that I got from it. The other way you can do it is just put it on your wood, dry, then go back with, and this is just, I could fill this up with water if I wanted to, but it's such a tiny opening and it drives me crazy to put the water in. So instead, I'm just going to dip it into my water. You can also buy these pens that come empty, and you can fill them with water or paint, whatever you want. But I really do like this. It's got kind of a soft brush tip to it. I want to keep that tip shape on it. Gently dip it in my water, and then I'm just going to paint it just a little bit right where I colored. So you're seeing I'm getting 3 different colors by using 3 different techniques off of the one pencil. So it was lighter, now it's a little muted, but it's still not as dark as this one. This was the one where I just kept dipping the tip of the pencil in there. Now I did try using a little bit of water with just my Crayola colors, and this is what this was, and it didn't give me the same effect. It showed my coloring lines a little bit more, but it didn't work as well in my opinion. So this is just regular Crayola here, and I didn't really expect it to work as well because it wasn't designed for it, but I had to try. So on this one, I've used water over the top of this, and this section is the same as this. So now I'll show you. Just going to go lightly over the top with a little bit of water, and it's going to bring out the color, and it's going to kind of blur those edges so there's not really any lines that you can see. So I think it just gives it a really cool, kind of pretty effect. But Dad, if you're watching, I've still got my pencils and I still use them. So everybody, hope you learned something today, and we will talk to you soon on our next Technique Tuesday. Oh, before I forget, there's nothing that says you have to use a blank that already has your lines. You can color outside the lines or create your own lines. So if we take this blank and we just make a real abstract design, I was forgetting to show you guys something. And this works especially well with the watercolor pencils because you can blur the colors together. So let's just do that for a minute. Then we'll do this for a minute. Just make any kind of artistic design you want. And I've got one more blue. I'm just going to mix in there. So you can see I'm being a little bit random with that. Take my watercolor brush and look at that. Can y'all see that light up? Let's try to hold it up a little higher. Isn't that cool? Just kind of watercolor blurred it all together. So lots of opportunities to be really super creative without actually having a plan in mind. So just get after it, play with it, and enjoy. Y'all have a great day.